Hi there. This is a modding tutorial for Orcs Must Die Deathtrap. My bad. So throughout this video, you're going to learn how to extract files from the game. You're going to modify the files, throw them in Unreal Engine, export it from Unreal, and then launch the game to get your mod working. One example of this mesh swap would be this Barry B. Benson mod that I made. So I swapped the character out with Barry the Bee right here. The model, the textures, and as you can see, the UI as well. So it's all just Barry. Now, the first step is simply have the game downloaded. You need to buy it on Steam, so go ahead and do that. Once it is downloaded, we are going to right-click the game, manage, and browse local files. It'll open up for you. Go to OMDD, content, and packs. This pack folder is where all of the data for the game is stored, like all of the assets. So your textures, models, effects, audio, it's all in here. What I like to do is go back one folder, so back here in the content folder, and I will make a modding folder in here. This is where all my mods are going to be stored. This template I have right here is not on Nexus Mods just yet, but will be by the time you're watching this video. So I'll have the link down below in the description. So what you're going to do is download the template. You're going to extract it however you do so. There we go. I'm going to open my template, and this is everything you're going to be getting. We have a Nexus Uploads folder. This is where you're going to be putting your mods when you're finished and your screenshots. You know, it's just a way to organize all of your assets. We have our Unreal 5.3 template. So this is what you're going to be working with once we get to that point. Your working assets, this is where you're going to put everything you're actually working with. So whatever models and textures you download online, whatever assets you extract from the game, just throw them in here so it's all organized. This mappings file is for fmodel. We'll get there here in a moment. We have a README file that we will get to later. And we have a required software and credit text document. So if we open this up, you're going to see links for Blender, a little thing we need for Blender, a plugin, my bad, Unreal Engine, which we need to download Unreal and download Unreal 5.3, fmodel to get the assets from the game, and this mappings file that will allow us to actually view and download the assets. This link will be right here, but I'm also providing the file itself in the template, and that was made by Nels Rello. He's a member of the Orcs Must Die community, and the template was made by myself. So we have myself and Nels's Nexus things right there. Okay, and of course, yeah, there's mapping. So let's get started. The very first thing we are going to do is open up fmodel. So download fmodel. It'll come just like this once you get it downloaded. We're going to launch it. There we go. When you download fmodel from the website, that is not the newest version of the software. When you launch fmodel, this page should come up. If not, you go to settings and bring it up. Just hit download latest release. It'll download for you, get everything updated. So this is what we want, okay? We want the newest version. Some games don't like being on older versions. It just won't work. So download the newest one, it will relaunch, and you're good to go. Oh, great. Now, I'm not able to snap this to my screen like I should be able to. I'll just do it this way. Okay. So when we first launch fmodel, none of this on the left side will be here. Don't worry about it. What we're going to do is go to settings. You'll have your exports set up. One thing that we really need is mesh format to be set to ActorX PSK. Socket format, we want it to be on export bone sockets as bones. Other games you don't want this, like Marvel Rivals, you don't export to be enabled. So it's more dependent on certain games, right? if we come up to general, we will have our archive directory set to the PAX file for Orcs Must Die. So again, if we come over here to Steam, go to browse local files, the same spot we were earlier, go to OMD, content PAX. This is the directory we are going to use. So just go ahead and copy that directory. Okay, so that's going there. Set the UE version to UE5_3. So click on the drop down, come to the very bottom, and just find 5_3. The mappings file. Okay, that is what we had back here. So if I go to my template, here's the mappings file. So just go ahead and copy that directory and just double click the mappings file and you're good to go. Okay, we're going to hit OK. And at that point, for you on your end, you might have to restart Fmodel, but once you restart it, you'll have all of these files on the left side. Don't worry about these last ones. Those are for the mods I have installed right now, so you're not going to have those. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is simply select all and hit load. OMD, content, and I'm going to come down to characters, heroes, and I'm going to swap out the magician girl, the one with the wand. Okay, so she is, I assume, hero_wand. So I'm going to double click on that, double click on mesh, then double click on the SKM asset. Okay. She doesn't have a no mesh selected. Maybe that's not her. Blunderbuss, Hammer, Max, Test. Okay. Well, here she is without a body. That's kind of confusing. I don't know why she doesn't have a body. Let's see. We have her torso here. Okay, if I come over here to Sniper, this is what I use for my first mod, and open up his skim. Yeah, he has a full body. And it's textured, it looks nice. If we do that for Max, Mesh, Skim, there he is, working just fine. So I'm not entirely sure why she doesn't have a body. But let's just go with it, There it is. It was disabled on the left side. So I right-clicked and enabled it. There we go. So we're going to modify her. Okay. What I'm going to do is right-click SKM and just hit. Oh, let me delete this other folder real quick. There we go. I want to right-click it and save model. Normally this is the fast part. Okay. I'm going to come back a folder, come down to material, and we have all our materials in here. So I'm going to come back and just right click on material or the map folder and hit save folder packages textures. Now we're not doing the raw data, we're not doing the JSON, package textures, okay? And this one normally takes a little bit longer to extract. Okay, we have both. So here in our little window, we have two links to locations where they save the assets. They're going to be at different spots. I don't know. You could change that in the settings. I just haven't. But first I want to click on the first one, that is the character. Okay, so there she is. So I'm just going to cut that character and put her in my working assets file folder. Okay, so there she is. Going to minimize it, and now it is time for us to get the textures. So I'm going to just left click on the texture one. It'll bring us up another window. Go to exports, OMDD, content, characters, heroes, and hero one. There she is. So everything we need. I'm just going to cut that entire folder. Now you're going to see other folders I had in here. Don't worry about those. Those are from earlier. So again, I'm going to close that window out, and I'm just going to paste all these assets in here. Okay, so this is everything for that girl. But now I need the asset that I'm going to swap her out for, okay? So if I come back a couple folders, this is, I already downloaded a character, and the character's name is Peggy. So I'm gonna go back to my template folder, go to my working assets, and I'm just going to place Peggy in here, okay? So I have Peggy's texture and Peggy's model. Let's make the swap happen. So let's go to Blender. Now, when you get into Blender, you're going to have to install the plugin from that README file that I mentioned earlier. I cannot exactly remember the way to install it, but it takes 2 seconds. Just Google it, how to install Blender plugin, and you'll get to it, okay? So I'm sorry about that part, I just forgot. But we're here in Blender. The very first thing I'm going to do is come up to the top right, click on Collection, and just delete it. Delete camera, delete cube, delete light. Okay, so just left click and hit delete. We're going to go to File, Import, PSK. Okay. Let me get to that folder now where I move the PSK model, and I'm going to come over here and double click the PSK model. Okay, with my middle mouse wheel, I'm going to scroll backwards. Quick Blender tutorial: if you hold the middle mouse button and move, you'll rotate the screen. If you hold Shift and then the middle mouse button, you move up like this, up and down. It's easy. So those are the basics of in, out, up, down, rotate, okay? It's Shift, middle mouse, click, and scroll. I'm going to File, Import. Well, first I need to see what file Peggy is. Peggy is FBX. So I'm going to go File, Import, FBX, and let's import Peggy. And there we go. We have Peggy Hill from King of the Hill. Okay, that's going to be our swap. The very first thing we are going to do, though, is go to File, Save As, and here in my Working Assets folder, again, I use this folder a lot, I'm going to make a file called edit_1. So if I ever have to come back to this, the very beginning, I now have a file saved for it. I'm going to do save as, and then make it edit_2. And this is going to be our first working file where we are going to be working. So in Blender, on the top right, we have Armature, which is the character in game, and we have Peggy. I'm going to extend Peggy, just click the little drop down arrow. I'm going to hide her skeleton and her LODs, right? I'm just going to hide all of that. So now we're back to just the main character. I'm going to click on her with left click and just turn off her armature. Okay, so there she is. Let's get rid of her. First thing, I'm going to hide her. Unhide Peggy Hill and her bones. I don't want those. Okay, so I'm going to left click it, hit delete. That's going to happen. If that happens to you, you are going to try to remember what the heck we are doing. I think it's okay. If your model might come with these or might not. So if they don't have these, just give it a second while we go over this. I'm going to right click them, set origin, geometry to origin. Okay. Now I'm going to left click that and hit delete, and now we have just Peggy Hill, and that's what we want. We don't want those around. If I click on Peggy, and on the right side click this green upside down triangle, I'm going to pull this screen down on the right. If you have any of these vertex groups, we want to delete them. So hit the drop down, the arrow, left click, and hit delete all groups. We don't want those. As you see, Peggy has her body and head. That's very normal. Maybe your asset will have just one mesh. Maybe it'll have 4 or 5. You're just going to do these steps on each one, okay? So here is her head. I'm going to, again, click and delete all groups. The next step is to, let's see it. Let me pull this back up. So I'm back in the groups. and click on UV maps. So this UV map is called UV0. Same with her body, okay? So this is going to be the first part that will probably mess some people up. It's real important that we rename those assets to the same one used by our character, our main character. So if I hide Peggy and bring back, oh my, I don't believe I forgot her name, Wand Girl. If I click on Wand Girl and go to the upside down triangle, I'm going to see UV underscore single. Now, most Unreal games that I've modded so far use this name, okay? We want to just double click it, Control C and copy it, and then let's hide her again, bring back Peggy, and we're going to click on both of Peggy's assets here and just paste in the new UV name. So I'm going to double click it, hit Control V for paste, and that's in. One thing to make sure that her textures will be working the entire time through the whole process is if I left click Peggy, hit tab on my keyboard, and notice in the top left corner it's going to go from object to edit mode. See that? I'm then going to click on this select mode and turn it to faces. So her faces are all selected. And at the top, if you click on UV editing and scroll back, you're going to see all of her mesh with her texture in the background. Sometimes the texture might be gone. We're not worried about that right now. We just want to see all of these triangles everywhere. So if I pull back, if I left click somewhere else, it'll deselect. And if I hold left click and hover over, it will select her mesh. That's important. And by the time we are done with this whole process, go ahead and check again that this is all there. If it is not there, then this is where you messed up. You just didn't rename her UVs correctly. So I'm going to go back to modeling, scroll back. And at this point, I'm going to merge. I just hit tab to put it back to object mode. Let me see. If I click on her, I'm seeing this modifier where it says P driver KH Peggy. I don't need it. Get rid of that. We don't want anything here in the blue modifier menu, the blue wrench. So exit out of that. Exit out of that. We don't want any of that there. I do see random stuff here for her shape keys. I don't want these. So let's delete all shape keys. Okay, so she is now just the model. That's all we want, is just the model. So I'm going to hit Control S to save. Now I'm going to click her body and then her head, or you could do, again, if you have like 5. Oh wait, let's not get there yet. The next part is if we click her body and click on the red earth down here. It looks like earth, it's a ball or something. It'll say material properties. I'm going to pull this down. And her material property is named MKH character Peggy Hill. But that's not a material in Orcs Must Die, so we have to pick one that isn't Orcs. Now, because we already imported the character from Orcs, if I click on Peggy and then click this Earth, I see all the other material names that are on this character. And that's what we want. So I am going to rename Peggy's material something else. So I'm just going to click on torso. Okay. Now, if I open up Peggy's materials, Peggy only has one material. Other characters might have more. Maybe they'll have one for torso and one for pants and one for hair, one for shirt, you know? So each of those assets are going to need a different material here in Blender, okay? So in this case, because Peggy only has the one texture here, her head and body needs to have the same material. So if I click on her head, going to drop down on Earth, set that to torso. Okay, so they both share the same one now. See that? And now what I'm going to do is click on one of the torso pieces or one of the parts and then shift click the next one. Okay. And then I'm going to hold Control and hit J on my keyboard. And now if you saw that in the top right corner, they merge together. So now if I click on Peggy, she is just one mesh. That's what we want. Now I'm going to unhide the mesh for our other character and get to work. The way I edit the mesh is the quick and dirty way, and I prefer it over the way of creating bones and manually, adjusting the character the right way. So we're going to do the dirty way. It works just fine. I'm going to click on Peggy because right now, as we can see, she's a little too big. So if we click on Peggy and then come over here to the right and hit this orange square, the Object Properties tab, I can change her scale. So I'm going to change her, Control Z, her Y scale, and hold left until it comes down to about the height of the other character. Okay. I'm then going to copy that scale with Control C and paste it for the X and Z. Let's see how that looks. I think it might be a little too low. While the head is important, one part you should really get right is the shoulders. The shoulders should line up. That's probably the most important part for these mods. I'll show you in a moment. So I'm going to increase her height just a little bit until her shoulder for her arm matches up with the base model. So I prefer this. There we go. I'm going to hit Control S. And I do this constantly. I'm just going to make another edit 3. I just keep making more versions because you will run into problems, okay? It's just inevitable. So the very first thing I'm going to do is come down and make sure that Peggy's feet match up with the character we are replacing the original one with. So if I toggle these on and off, they actually look pretty darn good for the most part. But I'm going to show you the quick and dirty way to edit just in case, because not all characters are going to be this clean. If you hold middle mouse and rotate around, then hold Alt on your keyboard, you'll snap to different positions with the camera. So I like this for the front one. So what I'm going to do is click on Peggy, hit Tab on the keyboard, and the top right, click on the viewport shading options, this far left one. So the white one is what we're normally in. We want the one to the left. I am going to click on the move tool on the left side and change the drag to lasso. Okay. If we're in this menu and if we select mesh, it doesn't do the back mesh. See that? But if we're in this other menu and we select mesh, it goes through the whole thing. So that's why we're in this shade menu. But if you hold left click now, I'm going to create a lasso around Peggy here and bring it down to her legs. There we go. I'm going to hit Shift H to hide everything except the mesh I just selected. Okay, so now we just have this to play with. I'm then going to unhide our original character, which, if I select, she's not selected, so I can't select her mesh. See this? But I'm going to select some of the bottom parts of Peg's mesh. And if you hit, Control plus on your numpad, you can extend, and minus will unextend your selection. See that? So now if I were to just move this mesh by holding left click, it looks not very good, right? We don't want to do that. So I'm going to hit Control Z. In the top, if we click on this proportional editing button, and then if I drag the mesh again, here, let me come back to what I did earlier. It's still broken, right? But if I hit Control Z, now if I left click the position and then use my middle mouse to scroll backwards, you'll see this this circle extend. Now if I do it, if I pull left and right, look at that. It's a drop off. So we're going to use this drop off to move the mesh a little nicer. So I'm going to grab the legs and just move it to the side a little bit. Okay, what I want is the body parts to match up better. So her feet are now being covered by the original character's feet. I like how her pants are. They look pretty good. Other characters, you might have to come over here to the rotate tool and rotate a little bit. So I'm just showing you this because not every character is made the same, okay? So I think her feet are good. Now I'm going to hold Alt, hit H on the keyboard, and that will unhide all the mesh that we did not play with before. In this case, I want to work on the left side now, so I could just hit Shift H to hide the other side now. Okay. So again, I'm going to hold Alt and middle mouse to come back to this front view, unhide the character, and I want to select the bottom again and hit, Control numpad plus a couple times. And move the character to the left a little bit. There we go. Hit Control H to unhide everything. I'm gonna hide the original character. And if I come back to the shade menu, looks pretty good. Now the part that's the most time consuming part of this entire ordeal is going to be the arms. In this case, if I select the arm and hit Control L on the keyboard, that's going to select all of the mesh related that's connected, right? So like if I just select her chest, hit Control L, only her chest is selected. See that? So what I want to do is only edit the arm right now. Okay, so I'll hit Control L. And you know what? Because the shoulders line up just right, I don't want to select this mesh, right? Because if I move this mesh, what's going to happen? It's going to break off her body because I'm about to hide everything except her arm. So what I want to do is come back to this menu, select her arm, and just hit Control plus a couple times to get all the way up there, except the last bit of her mesh, or of her arm, right? So I'm going to hide everything except that her arm. So again, that's Shift H. I'm going to hide the other character, and this is where we are. Let's come back to the other shade. I'm going to select the arm, and I need to move it down. So if I just move down right now, look at that. Not very clean, right? So we're going to turn on the proportional editing button, and I'm going to pull it down. And you kind of want to do this slowly, right? Because if you do it all at one time, you're going to really deform the body. So let's go ahead and there we go. I'm slowly moving her. So we're bringing it down. Might have to extend the radius here in a little bit. Yeah, see, so I hit Control Z, come back a little bit. I'm going to extend my radius. There we go. I'm just slowly bringing it down. Now I notice the character has her elbow, right here in elbow land. So what I want to do is bring Peggy's elbow down there as well. Another way to help you make sure the body parts are in the right spot is if you come back to the armature and click it, we're going to see where the bones are. So I see the elbow bone is right here, so that's where I want the elbow to be. Okay, so I might have to pull Peggy's arms out a little bit, just stretch it just a tiny bit. Pull it down. Okay. That looks pretty good. Gonna come back into this view, and I need to bring some of these body parts forward now. Okay, see, I'm just taking my time with this arm, because the arms are going to be the part that if you get in game, if you notice any problems, it's going to be the arms most of the time where there are problems. Okay, so I'm going to unhide the original real quick. And just look at Peggy here. It's not perfect, but I'm trying to get through this mod in a decent amount of time for this video, right? So I gotta rush through a little bit of this, but when you're doing it, take more time on the arms, okay? And now we're going to do the fingers. So it might be hard on your screen to see, but this is Peggy and this is Wand, right? So I want Peggy's fingers to be as overlaid with the original hand as possible. It's real important that we get that, okay? So I'm going to select her hand. Make sure that if I move the body, the fall off isn't too big right now, because I just want to play with the hands, because I already got the rest of the arm in position. Okay. So I'm going to get the thumb first. Okay, if we see the thumb, we have the This portion of the thumb should be more like right down here, right? But it's not just yet, so I'm going to grab it and decrease the radius of the fall off. And I'm just going to kind of, force it into that mold. There we go. Again, it's not perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's a mod, but that works. I'm then going to select the other hands for Peggy, and I'm just going to kind of pull them down a little bit. I'm pulling it so it's more lined up with the knuckles right now. That's what I'm trying to get working. Because once you have the knuckles, you can start rotating the pieces. So I have the knuckles good. I'm going to start rotating. Again, see, it's slow and steady. It's not fast. But this is probably one of the most important parts. Because once you get the hands down, you're going to understand how to do most of the random mods that you're going to be doing in the future. The hands are probably the toughest part. And they're probably going to come out wonky. It's whatever. Just have fun with it, So let's get the pointer finger. I'm going to rotate this a little bit, probably decrease the range again so I don't move the other fingers. Okay, let's get that in place. Okay, that's good. Now let's rotate this part of the hand with the finger. There we go. So just to see what everything looks like, if I hide the original mesh, it's not terrible, but it'll work. This is Peggy right here. So let's get her ring finger right here. That's mostly in place already, so I'm gonna get the bottom part of it now. Of course, if you've used Blender before, you probably know what I'm doing. You could just skip all this. But this is a complete beginner's tutorial. This is something that in a few months when I stop modding the game, and then a year later when I want to get back into modding the game, I will come back to this video to see what I'm doing. Okay, I do that a lot. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I finally figured out what to do for the next part that I wish I had known a long time ago. But there wasn't a tutorial video like this, So now that I know what to do, I like making the videos to help people out. Okay, this is a little big. It's like I'm moving this finger. I don't want that finger to be all like dwarfed, And then let's get this last one. I'm just going to move it. Again, it's probably not going to be super... Oh my goodness. That looks terrible. Look at that. So obviously, when you're doing this, go a lot slower than what I'm doing, okay? I am destroying her finger right now. Oh my goodness. What in the world did I do to that finger? There it is. Okay, let me come back a little bit. I absolutely destroyed that finger. Okay, there we go. So let me decrease the whatchamacallit, the proportional editing for that one. Now, some people have easier fingers to edit, some will have harder ones. Like this one, it's not only if it's kind of curved, see this? So other characters won't have fingers as tough as this to do. And some, like in Marvel Rivals, some of the characters have just like massive hands. So you have to kind of make your character bigger depending on the base model. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but you just gotta go with it. So, and again, other people will see this video and not like the fact that I'm moving the mesh like this. They'll put their own bones in and move it the right way, but this is quick and dirty. That's all I care about. Okay, so if I hide the original mesh now, come back to Peggy, I will see, or let me hide the bones as well. I'll see they're not perfect, but It doesn't have to be perfect. You just gotta have fun. Like this, I can move these a little bit, make it a little cleaner. You know, but like, you're not gonna see the hands really. You know, just have fun with it. Let me move some of this mesh out, make it a little cleaner, but you know, it's not the end of the world if the hands aren't perfect. Okay, I'm just going to go without the hands, okay? Now if I hit Alt-H and come up here, okay, we're going to see there's some weirdness happening up here. It's not the end of the world. We just select the edge up here on the top left. I want to click it and just pull it up a little bit. See this? Easy does it. You know, so there's some weirdness here. I could fix that. Well, if I can find out what this weirdness is, I can. Maybe it needs to come this way. I don't know. Here, just... You know what I can do? Is select all of her and just move the hand in just a little bit because, you know, whatever, you know? I shouldn't do that actually. You know what? Actually, I could grab all of that and pull this out a little bit. You know, you're gonna run into these scenarios where stuff doesn't look super pretty. It doesn't have to look pretty, okay? It doesn't. Unhide. Oh wait, and then I'm gonna pull this out a little bit and hide. Look at that. That covers up most of the problems just by doing that. You're allowed to take shortcuts, okay? It's a mod. You're not getting paid to do this. You can have fun, make little mistakes. It's whatever. Oh, you know what? That's going to mess up the next lesson I was going to teach you guys, though. But yeah, you could do that. I'm just going to do this one fun thing where I'm going to move it in and just enlarge it. Look, see, if I move that in and just make it a little bit bigger. You'll never notice. Oh, you definitely will. Okay, we'll just fix that area. And now we're going to get working on the other side. Okay, watch this. This is really neat. So if I select the other side, hit Control L, right click. I'm going to just, well, here, go to mesh first, or face. I'm just going to delete all those. Okay, all gone. Control L on the good arm, right click it, and go to separate by selection. Now, if you look on the right side, we have head. Here, I'm going to hit tab to go back to object. But we have body, well, you know, the head, and then her arm. With the arm selected, I'm going to hit the wrench, modifier, hit mirror. Now it's on the other side. I am then going to hit this drop down button, hit apply. Now, if you're in edit mode, you cannot hit the apply button, so you have to be in object mode. Hit apply, and look at that, we're mirrored over. So we didn't have to mess with the left side. Now we'll hit the arm, then the body. So the one that you broke off earlier, shift select the body, hit Control J, now we're all back in one. Now again, if you select the body, hit tab to go to edit mode. Let's go to UV editing. Okay, let's select some of the arm pops up like it's supposed to, that's good. Hit Control L on the arm, there's the arm, right? So I'm just make sure everything works. You select the head, everything works. Okay, modeling. I'm gonna hit Control S. And it is time for us to copy over the weights. So again, what we're going to do, we're going to make another save. Okay. Hit tab. Now what you want to do is select the original mesh, the original character, and then shift select the new one. Okay, so original first, then new one. On the top, go to object mode, click on weight paint, weights, transfer weights, in the bottom left corner, hit on transfer mesh data, vertex mapping, select it and go to nearest edge interpolated. change the ray radius to 5M, and then destination layer, click on that. Wait, source layer selection, click on that and put by name. Okay. And then going back to object mode, hide the original character, click on the new character you have, go back to weights, and now if we click on the upside down green triangle, we're going to have all these new vertex groups. Okay, so if I click on one, look, there's the thigh. You know, from the original character, we copied it over. Here's the middle ring finger. Okay. Now, normally, if you have like, you know, problems with the fingers, like let's say we click on middle finger R, that looks good. But what if that was painted? What if you came to this and you saw something like that? Well, that's saying that if the character moves their middle finger, that's going to move too. And we don't want that, okay? So one thing we could do, if we see this scenario, come up to the top left and weights, we want to pull that left drag to 0. And now you can paint away that nastiness. But let's say we have something like this, where you want to add paint. You come up to weight, pull it up a little bit, and now you paint that back in. See that? So I'm going to hit Control Z because it was already good. Well, actually, if I come back here, it's not very good, huh? So I'm going to paint that in. So this is something you would do throughout every finger, throughout the whole body, okay? So I'm not going to do it right now, but that's what you're going to do for weight painting. But there are a couple important ones we want to check out, like pelvis. Make sure pelvis is good. You have spine. If I click on, now if you're ever curious as to what should be painted or not, I'm going to select, I'll come back to Peggy, I guess, put her back to object mode, and I want to select the original mesh, take her to weight paint, and now I could click on her. So I see, oh, spine should go all the way around the body. See that? It should go all the way around the body. And this third one is more of the upper chest area. We have our pelvis. So I want to make sure that my character kind of matches this one. So the spine should be all the way around. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix the spine for her. Okay. Here is a part that is a little different than most games, but the head, if you look at it, is not all red. That's because this game has different bones and everything for all the different head parts. But all I do really is watch it. I'm going to put weight to 100, set radius higher, click on brush and put unselect front face only. And I'm just going to select the whole head. Okay, the whole head is going to get this now. Okay, so that's what I do. You could take your time and do it the right way, but I just do this. Okay, it's going to get the point across. Look, now the whole head is done, right? That's what we want. The original character, as you can see, had all these other pieces that we're not using at all. So like this right here, head tube, I'm just going to select it to weight 0 and paint it away. You know, paint away the nastiness, because we're not going to use it. I don't care for any of this, you know? And if you don't do this and you get in game and you notice your character's mesh is all wonky and moving weird, 99% of the time it's going to be because of the weights. It's the part that is the most time consuming, because you have to come here into Blender, make your edit, export to Unreal, repackage it, and test it, okay? Now, luckily, Orcs loads really fast. Like, it's really nice. Other games take a lot longer to load, and so you're waiting a lot longer between making edits and testing them. So let me just get some of this done, because we don't need any of this. No. And it's telling us teeth, tongue. I don't care about any of this. So this is probably what you're going to be doing. Oh, that chin might as well stay. I'll keep the chin there. So yeah, I'm taking special care right here because I know this is going to be the part that a lot of people are going to have more problems with. But I just come down and delete what I don't need. Yep, I'm just going to get rid of all of it. And then if you get rid of all of it and you don't like how it was, well, you made a backup, right? If you have to, you still have the other character right there. You could select them and open up probably 2 instances of Blender and just go down each one and copy and make changes like so it's all equal. For this character, it's definitely for these models, it's definitely the head that takes a little bit more time. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna come down and oh, look at that. Oh, that looks pretty good. I doubt the twist is supposed to be affecting this over here though. Again, if you have arm problems, the best bet is to open up the original character and just look at what's painted over there. But we are going to say this is good. Again, if there are problems, this is going to be the spot that we come back. So I'm going to hit Control S to save. Now what are we going to do? That's right, make a new edit. Okay. Come back to Object. So this is the last part we have to do. I like to come to the original character. I'm going to hit Tab, and I'm going to find a spot, a mesh that is outside of this, right? So something easy I could select. So I'm going to select some of this hair. I'm going to hit H on that. Come back to this menu, and I'm going to select the entire original character. Right click, delete faces. Okay, now I can hit Alt H to unhide the pieces we did not delete. Go back to Object, then we're going to select the new mesh and Shift select the original. Hit Control J, and look what happens over here. Watch this. Control J, Control. Oh, sometimes it gets wonky like that. Boom. Control J. The original that Peggy was on is deleted. It's gone. And now Peggy has all of the same naming conventions and everything of the original. That's what we want. It's real important. Now I can select her, hit Tab, and I want to delete the rest of the original mesh. We don't need it anymore. Okay, hit Tab. Then once again, just go to UV. Make sure that everything appears when you select. Let's go to modeling, and I'm going to, that's right, make one last save. Okay. Now we need to export the character. So I'm going to export the character here in my working assets folder. Let's see. So this is Blender finished. So I'm just going to throw it in here in this folder. I'm going to copy the location, come to File, Export, FBX. Let's go to that location. Okay. Now what do we save it as? We need to copy the original name, which was, yeah, why did I move? Oh, I guess I moved over here, huh? Okay. Here's the original name from the game, so I'm going to copy this name, Hero One SKM, come back to Blender, name it that file, that name. On the right side, hit Geometry, Smoothing, change that to Face. Okay, I'm going to export it. Let's come here to Blender or to Unreal. Now, if this is your first time to Unreal, it might be in the, like by default in the storefront. On the left side, hit Unreal Engine. There we go. Click on Library in the top, hit the plus button, and then select the drop down. It works on 5.3.2, and that's what the template is for. So get 5.3.2 and install it, and we're going to launch it. While that is launching, it will take a little bit. I'm going back to my template here. I'm going to double click on the OMD UE53 template a couple times, and then we're going to see this Unreal Engine project file. So that's the one we're going to be playing with. So I'm going to copy this location. Whenever Unreal opens up, I'm going to hit browse in the bottom right. I'm going to paste that location and then double click on the file. Let me give you a quick check of the layout here. Now, once you download the template, there might be a setting that didn't save over for you. I'm not completely sure, so I'm going to show you what it is real quick. But yeah, on your end, if you're using this template, it might already be done for you. But in the top left, hit File, or hit Edit, Project Settings. Left side, hit Packaging. And if it looks like this, don't worry, just hit the drop down button. And we want use pack file, use IO store, and generate chunks to all be selected. You don't have to mess with anything else. We just want to make sure those are there. Now, what are you getting when you download this template? If you open it, on the left side, we're going to see OMDD. So we click on that and click on all, and we have this content file. If you double click it, it's going to bring you up a new data asset, main, and characters. Now, for characters, I have a basic rundown of what what everything should look like. So if I click on characters, heroes, hero sniper, so that's for a different character. But if you click him, I see the mesh, UI, material folder, all these different folders, right? We're going to see this hero underscore name of hero underscore phy. We'll get to that. And if we come back to characters, hit base, mesh, biped underscore skl. Again, we will get to that, okay? So what we want to do is open up fmodel and recreate the same file structure in here for the one character. So where I see hero underscore sniper, I should make a hero underscore wand. So right here, right click, hero underscore wand. Okay, so let's go in there. I see in the wand folder, there is a mat and mesh. Again, name it exactly what you see. It will not work if you do not do that. So mat, mesh. Okay, and what was in the mesh folder? RSKM file. So let's go to mesh, come back to our export, which was here in Blender finished. And I am just going to left click, drag it all the way over and let go. This will come up. And all we want to do is hit import all. That is it. Okay. So we have a material, a skeleton, a physics asset, and our mesh. So if we double click the mesh, a new window will pop up. And there is Peggy. The moving around is a little different here in Unreal. If you hold right click, you could look around. While holding right click, you can hit A, WASD to move around, okay? So I'm gonna close that window. And the first thing we want to do is we'll go open her back up and scroll down the right side a bit. We want to, where is it? We want to take this skeleton. I'm just going to copy it. So left click copy, come to mesh, and I'm going to paste it in here. Oh, actually, no, I don't want to copy. I want to actually move it. So I'm going to delete that. Mesh, so let's move the skeleton all the way up there. I'm going to copy the name of this other one, that is biped underscore skl, and then delete it. And I'm going to rename that to the one we just moved over, okay? And if we look over our sniper example under mesh, it's hero underscore name of hero underscore phy. And that name comes from here. So right here, I see hero underscore wand phy. There it is. Hero underscore wand underscore phy. So if I come over here to the mesh, this physics one, that's what we're going to name. So it's what? Hero wand phy. So these are edits you have to do or your character will not move correctly, okay? And then this torso inst, if I come back here to material, I see torso inst right here. And that's in the map folder. So let's grab the material and drop it in the map folder that we just made. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is just, if you see the little asterisk next to your asset, that means it's not saved yet. So just click on it, hit Control S, now it's saved. Okay, there's Peggy. But now we need her texture. So this hero wand torso inst, if we double click it here in F model, we're going to see on the right side, there's all these different maps associated with it. Okay. And one is diffuse. Oh, this is actually perfect. Okay. So and that diffuse is right. Well, if I come over here, hit Control F, search diffuse. Oh, it doesn't want to pop up right. Hero wand torso. There it is. So it should be this BC for the color. I actually don't know why this one is that color. It should be. Torso ints BC AO. I am going to go with this. Okay. Let's just drag and drop. It should work just fine. I'm going to drag the texture in here. Peggy Hill. Okay, it's imported. And I need to rename it to this BC, which again, I'm very confused as to why it is not showing up in here. Because this looks like an AO. So if I double click AO, yeah. Okay, just a little confusion. It's okay. I just hope this is going to come out right now. One thing we could do is, remember earlier when we downloaded those materials? We downloaded all of them right here. So because this is the torso, I am interested in only the torso bits. Okay, so these 4 right here, and we need to pretty much remake these 4 inside of Unreal. So this is the color, so I'm going to copy the name right here, this BC color one, and paste it over this Peggy Hill one. Now if you want, you could double click the material, pull to the side, drag the new texture that we just brought in, and I'm going to hold left click on RGB and bring it up here to base color, and hit save. Now come over here to mesh, double click on, well, not the PHY, the SKM, and she is now textured. But here's a problem, okay? The game still expects a normal map, a MRAO map, an AO map. So the game still expects to have all of these maps in here, but we're not going to export them, which means the game will put this normal map on Peggy, and it's going to look bad. Okay. So one way to fix that, which I will then include these textures that I'm about to throw in here in the template. So don't worry about that. Let me find these files real quick on my end. Mods, tutorial, UI images. Okay, black, purple, and white. There we go. Oh, wrong button. Okay, so now these will be included inside of the template. Working assets, you will find a white, black, and purple texture. You can use these depending on what they need to be used for specular, for normal, for whatever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is drag the purple, and I think I just need the black. So I'm pull those in. Okay, so there is the normal right here. So I'm gonna copy it and rename it. So now we have the normal map. AO, we're just going to make it all, I guess black. We'll just see what happens. So I'm gonna copy the AO one, rename it. Now it's all black. And then there was this MRAO one. I'm not sure what the heck it is. But I'm just gonna pull the white one in and rename that. Copy it and paste. Okay, while we went out of our way to put the texture on here, we're not going to actually be exporting this material. So if you don't even do that, you're still good, okay? And just to go out of the way real quick, if we look over here and click on UI, or click on UI and then hit package up here, and we could double click and see their portraits. See this? If you export these, you can take a screenshot of your character, make the swap in Photoshop, and just drop the new assets in the appropriate UI folder. Okay, so like I would make a UI one right here, right? And drop them in there. So if you want to go out of your way and make the portraits, that's how you do that. For this video, we're not going to be doing that though. Okay, but now that this is all made, I'm going to hit Content, double click New Data Asset. Come up here, pick a random number for each of your mods. So I want to go left, right, 259. Okay. If for some reason you don't have any of the boxes down here, like I just had, come to Explicit Assets and just hit plus a couple times. The first one, I'm going to select the skim file. Do not select physics or the skeleton, the biped. We don't need those selected, okay? The character already has that information associated with her inside of the SKM file. So if I scroll down, we're going to see, look, Hero 1 PHY, biped XKL. So it's already associated with her. We're not going to export those, okay? And we don't select the material, but we do select the textures. So remember there's 4 textures, so I'm coming down, selecting all 4, and I'm going to delete this last one because I don't need it, and we'll hit save. I'm going to hit platform on the top, go to Windows. By default, I think it's selected on use project settings. Select shipping, okay? So left click that. Now come back to Windows again, package project. Again, to our modding folder, our template again. Go OMD, and I created this package file for you, folder for you. Okay, so click package and just hit select folder. In the bottom right of your screen, it will now say packaging project for Windows. The first time you do this, it's going to take a little longer, but each time after that, it should go faster. So I'm going to go to that folder here on my screen right now for you. Again, my modding folder, the template we were working on. The other ones I renamed were my B mod and my PlayStation button mod. So you could rename this, but you probably should so you don't get lost with all your mods. Again, I'm going to come here to the template, OMD, packaged. So by default, it's empty. That's because it's actively packaging our asset. If you did want to edit these portraits, you can just right-click UI, save folder packages textures, And if we open it up, again, we gotta go through this process like we did for the textures earlier. Now we'll go to UI, characters, heroes, wand, UI, and here are all of her assets we could change. Okay, add those in Photoshop, and you're going to do the exact same process. Ren is her name. That you're going to do the same process that you just did for the body. While it's still packaging, there are going to be other scenarios where you're going to have more of these textures pop up, or they're going to have to replace. You can't just left click it. Oh, I forgot one step. After it's unpacked, I'm going to cancel my package. Okay. But first, to get back to what I was just saying, you can't just copy and paste and then rename this whatever you want. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Instead, go to modding, template, working assets. So like if there's the white one, you have to come in here, copy and paste the white one. Now you could drag this into Unreal and rename that however you see fit. Okay, our texture files. Select all 4 of them here. I'm going to right click and go to convert to virtual texture. I'm not sure what this means. I just set it to 2048 every time. Hit OK. And now they all should say VT in the bottom right corner. I'm going to select them all, hit Control S. They have to be virtual textures to work. So it's saving right now. Package, select that. If they're not VT, it's not going to work. Another thing, if you get in game and your mesh is like taking up your whole screen, like it looks broken, just walk around a little bit and it'll fix itself. I don't know what does that. It'll do it if you're playing multiplayer and your friend is using the mod you just made. It goes away. I don't know why, but it just does. Maybe it's one of the maybe it's a setting in Unreal. I have no idea. Another thing, I could not figure a way to get alpha mats to work. So if your asset requires an alpha mat, you might have to find another way to work around that. But I just could not find what to do. Okay. So I'm gonna close all these. It looks like it's coming up to an end. Package complete. There we go. So packaged, Windows, OMDD, content, packs, and we're going to get all these files here. We are only interested in the ones with our special number, right? So if I come back to Unreal, remember if we go to the new data asset, we select a random number. In this case, it's 259. Look at this, pack chunk 259. I'm only interested in these, okay? So I am going to rename it. When you post your mod and you're gonna test your mod, this part's important. Hit Z underscore name of mod. It could be whatever the heck you want. Underscore P, okay? So the underscore P and Z underscore, you need those and you can name it whatever you want. But all 3 of these need to have the same name. So it's name of mod pack, name of mod ucast, name of mod utalk. So I'm gonna take all 3 of these, I'm gonna cut them, and I'm going back to the packs folder. Remember this from earlier? That says all the packs from the whole game. Go ahead and right click and make a mods folder. Now you can put your mods in here if you want to, but then it's going to be busy. So I like to take the files and just put them in the mods folder. I'm going to paste them in here. Now we can test the mod out. So if I launch the game, which I hope the recording continues to work when I launch it. Okay, on your screen, what you're seeing right now, it's going to look like the game is not on your screen, right? Don't worry about that. That's on my end because I have an ultra wide monitor. But you're gonna hit play when you get in game and just swap to that character. Okay, so I'm gonna hit escape, War Mage select. Again, I didn't change the UI, right? So if I click on Barry here, You know, his looks like it's done because I already did it. Now let's go check out Ren. Oh my goodness! Again, it's the I would have to go back and fix the weights. Okay, so that's why I told you the weights are going to take the longest part. You're going to go in and out. It's annoying, but we have Peggy Hill here. It looks ridiculous. Let me open up this other program just so I can show you a little better what it looks like. I'm using there's a free version of the software I'm using, but I have the paid version. Okay, so let me come in game. I'm gonna hit that button. Okay, so I unlock the camera, but with this, we could check Peggy out a little bit better. Um, the weights aren't terrible. You know, some of the shoes, some of the legs, some of the pants. Her fingers aren't perfect. Her jaw isn't perfect. Her pants are definitely not perfect. But that's where the back and forth process happens. Okay, it's in paint weights. But here you go. You have Peggy Hill. So I hope this tutorial helped. If you have any questions, I will link the link to the Orcs Must Die Discord down below. You could add me on Discord, same username as here on YouTube, and I will get uploading that template for you. So hope you guys have an awesome day. Thank you for checking out the video.